Hello, good morning and welcome to another video and what is essentially week number 1 of my prep for a sub 3-hour marathon. If you weren't aware that that's what I was training for, then it means you haven't watched my most recent video, which is the video on screen for you just here. So go and watch that for a little bit more context and understanding as to the timelines, etc, etc. I am kicking things off with a heavy lower body session this morning and track session this evening. 190 kilos locked and loaded on the bar for 3 sets of 5. I'm going to be basically working my way back up in terms of weight as reps get lighter and increasing my exposure to sub-threshold and tempo pacing work, as my prep for the 250k was mostly aerobic and my strength endurance and strength volume was a little bit on the lower end. So we're just picking things back up a little bit. So for the next 4 weeks, that is going to be the focus, and this week is essentially kicking that off. Set number 1, felt fine, but I'm not a huge fan of doing sets of 5 on deadlifts, I must admit. Triples, doubles or singles are a lot less strenuous. But I guess that's kind of the whole point of rep work, isn't it? Okay, so you've seen first and last set of those and pleased with how they moved, really good foundation to build from. What I've been feeling for the past sort of 5-6 weeks as I've been sort of going through the motions and kind of training as I please amidst my recovery from the 250 is just that my strength endurance has been lacking, as I mentioned, that my engine for intensity is a bit reduced and that my snappiness and power in strength movement and in any running or anything explosive is definitely diminished from before the 250. So that's what I'm really focusing on building up in this next period of training and just getting used to the skill and the movement of what I'm going to be focusing on, which is heavier lifting and harder effort running. So I've enjoyed the 5-6 weeks of going with the motions and sort of just seeing how I feel day to day with training and enjoying it. But I am excited to get back into a decent block and take a lot of the lessons from the strength and marathon training plan from Omnia, which is available via the website down below, as we've found a really good structure to be able to effectively manage these things concurrently. So assistance work. Fun fact here is that with that being 180 kilos, Johnny is also 180 years old. Okay, next up, safety bar split squats. You can hear in the tone of my voice how excited about these I am. Job done. Breakfast. Psych, pre-breakfast skate. Something, you don't grow old because you stop playing, or you get old because you stop playing, or something about me being a massive child and installing a mini ramp in the gym. Okay, I'm gonna get my breakfast on board before I get in the shower because Johnny's in there just now. I have Greek yogurt, frozen raspberries, some oats and some Flav drops from my protein, which forms my breakfast. And I look like I'm eating yogurt with my hands because I'm still covered in chalk. Anyway, after this I'm gonna get showered, gonna head back through to the office, crack on with a full day of programming for our one-to-one athletes, and then any of the group intake stuff, along with some website development work, a few catch-up calls with our top tier Carpe Omnia athletes. And I basically just use Monday to get through the sort of the cadence of the week and then sort of adjust and keep on top of things as the week goes on. So Monday is a very admin heavy day for me. Previously, it's actually been a day that I don't train because it's been quite overwhelming, but recently we've got some new staff on board that can take a few things off at my end so I can train AM, PM as I used to, and I've got a lot of value out of. So I'm gonna get breakfast on board, crack on through there, and we'll touch base over a snack and a coffee mid-morning to talk you through exactly what the day looks like ahead of seeing you at the track this evening. Okay, and it's just coming up to midday. I have myself a black coffee, really toeing the line with my caffeine curfew there, and a white chocolate chip, my protein brownie, which is a pretty regular occurrence at this time. Normally I'm having lunch at 12 on the nose, but I've had some calls and things that mean that I'm pushing everything back a little bit. But I'm currently in a calorie deficit, which means that I am trying to really focus on my protein intake. We keep it well stocked here so that I've always got access to something. If you want to know how I'm approaching being in a calorie deficit, then comment down below what questions you've got around nutrition, and I will make a video about exactly that. Full day of eating, PowerPoint presentation, whatever it ends up being. But essentially, I'm just trying to make as much of my body weight as usable and functional as possible at the moment. I'm about 207 pounds, 93, 94 kilos, give or take. Want to be down towards the sort of 91, 92 mark, maybe even towards 90, depending on how lean I get. I generally don't really stay completely jacked all year round, just because I'm always very much performance first driven. I never really do anything to look a certain way. It's always very performance outcome based. But for the marathon, for my strength goals at the moment, I want to be as light and functional as possible with my strength. So any excess body weight is not actually going to be helping me, which means that it makes sense to get a bit leaner and be a bit lighter. Whilst I am in a deficit, it's important to keep my protein intake high, which is why I will have one of these every day. We have a well-stocked kitchen through there with other things as well, like clear whey, protein cookies, protein bars, little pop rolls, and some whey, etc., etc. Lots of things that are convenient and easy to access, because protein on the move, busy days, is a thing that can be hardest to get. So having stuff like this easily available is really quite useful. The range that I tend to operate in is anywhere from 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight to 1 gram per pound of body weight in terms of protein intake. And I found that's often the best way for me to keep the muscle that I've built over the years, the strength that I've built over the years, whilst hybrid training and focusing on endurance as well. So if you want to grab yourself some easily accessible, convenient protein sources to support your training goals, then use the code Fergus at checkout with my protein to do exactly that. And then you too can nail your protein goals around what I assume is a pretty busy existence. So, sip of that. And a bite of that. Very rude of me. See you at the track. See you this afternoon. See you soon. Okay, en route to our first of many private track sessions at Meadowbank over the summer. We've booked out Monday night 6 till 7 all summer for Omnia, basically anyone in Edinburgh or the surrounding areas that wants to come along. You are more than welcome to do so. We would love to see you there. Links for all of the events that are currently live, which is 12, I believe, are in the description down below. Tracks are a great way of just doing honest, hard, individual work, and that's exactly what today is going to be about. I can't remember whether I've got 1200s or 800s, but I'll find out once we get there. And yeah, essentially people can join in the coach session that we're doing or do their own. Just kind of a great way of getting everybody working at their own individual hard effort, moderate effort, whatever they've got, and ending up back in the same place, which means it's quite an inclusive way of training together without just setting off and going in one direction and then kind of not seeing each other again the whole time. But Edinburgh traffic is somewhat playing ball, but I must admit it has been a bit of a mad rush since I last spoke to you / ate lunch, really, just with the usual Monday shenanigans and then getting everything ready to get out the door for this. But you know what? Open road ahead at, what are we, 5:42 on a Monday? I'll take it. Okay, and we are at Meadowbank, all set up and ready to go. Mid warm up at the moment, just giving everyone a couple of minutes to loosen off any areas that they need to loosen off before we hit to sort of increasing pace 400s, just to get nice and warm. Johnny's then going to take us through a session. I think we've got 2 or 3 more people coming. This is week number 1, so excited to get it kicked off. Going to build from here, essentially taking through 800s this week, 400s next week, 200s the week after that, 1200s the week after that. Then we're going to do a mile time trial. So if that sounds spicy and interesting enough for you, then Glasgow is the furthest I would expect anyone to travel for this. So if you want to come along with a friend, you know what to do. But I am looking forward to training with some people, genuinely. I'm going to stop taking the piss for a second. Summer of speed work last summer was very, very insular and soul focused for me. So this is really exciting, genuinely. So as a byproduct of the channel, effectively. Thank you for all your ongoing support, because I'm at a real point in my training with stuff like this. It's fantastic. I really do enjoy it. So let's get warmed up and hit some 800s. Rep 1, 240, rep 2, 245, 4 by 800 meters with equal rest between sets for everybody today. So we're now just rolling, everybody hitting 4. So rest for me now is 245. I should probably use that to get my breath back. Last rep, best rep, 8 seconds more rest. I'm feeling quite solid. My abs today, of all things, you know. Heavy lower this morning, and I'm at time. Goodbye. All right, job done, good crack. Week 1, 4 by 800 meters. I went 240, 243, 248, 246. Felt pretty good. Recovery was decent, and actually it's nice to start feeling a bit of spring back in my, that's me running, for anyone wondering. Bit of spring back in my step. Lots of people that hadn't actually used the track before, because if you saw my second video from last, you'll know that Edinburgh Leisure like to make it quite difficult to access very heavily invested in facilities, because they're often being used for egg and spoon races and the like. Nonetheless, I digress. And yeah, it's just good to get that building over the summer. Hopefully that builds and builds and builds, and we can have a lot of people come and join us. So just to reiterate finally, if you are keen to come along, description. If you're keen to save some money off at My Protein, description. If you're keen to check out any hybrid training products from Omni Performance, description. YouTube upload reminder. That has been done. So that's essentially what a day of training looks like. Double training day, basically day 1, week 1 of my marathon prep. Like the video, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe so you can see the rest of the marathon prep. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.